Hey guys, how's it going? So there's a whole new slew of Michigan gun control that they are literally going to try to pass through as much of this as possible, if not all of it actually. That's their goal during the last couple weeks of this lame duck session. Now, if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you subscribe to keep up to date on videos like this. And also check the two most recent videos I did because there's like 6 Michigan gun control bills, some of which have already passed, some are pending through committees and votes. I'll leave a link to those down there in the pinned comment. So Thanksgiving's coming up soon, and Michigan Democrats are giving all of us something to chew on when it comes to gun control. Now, this is a long list of stuff. I'm going to go through it as quickly as I possibly can because a lot of you like videos that are a little more brief. Stay tuned. Turn on those notifications if you want more in-depth. I'll get into some of the nuts and bolts of these bills in a live stream probably before this week's over. I'll try my hardest before they go back into session. So we're talking about a bump stock ban bill, a so-called ghost gun ban bill, which is privately made firearms. We're talking a gun buyback, a no sell list, Medicaid dollars. There's a lot. Now, a couple quick things. Lame duck. That means the outgoing party. So the Michigan House right now is still controlled by the Democrats. So is the Senate. The governor is a Democrat as well. The Republicans did just win the Michigan House in the most recent election. However, the Democrats still have what's called the trifecta. They both hold both chambers of the legislature as well as the governor, which means along party lines they can kind of just push through whatever the heck they want. Here's the schedule because a lot of you want to know this. Okay, they're off the rest of this week in November. They're going to be back the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of December, 10th, 11th, and 12th. It appears the 17th off, and then the 18th and 19th. So they have about 3 weeks where they can try to get some of this stuff through committees. Some of this is already in committees. Some of these have bill numbers already. Some don't. They're working on draft bills, from what I understand from some inside sources, right now, like over the holiday weekend. So, let me think of where to start here, because there's a lot of stuff going on. And by the way, if this stuff passes in the lame duck, it still becomes a bill. It still becomes a law if it passes the Michigan House and Senate and Gretchen signs it. The Republicans taking the House, they're not going to be able to undo these bills in the next 2 years because we still have Gretchen Whitmer as the governor. I promise you, she will never sign any bill that would repeal any gun control. And of course, the Senate isn't up for election again until 2 more years. They won't let anything that would repeal any of this through. A lot of comments I get, people think these bills, if they pass and get signed by the governor into law, don't count because it's lame duck. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. These still count, and it'll be a huge uphill battle, if ever, that we're able to get these repealed. So, bump stock ban bill. This is Senate Bill number 942. This was introduced earlier this year by Senator Polahanky. And this has already been deemed unconstitutional the way the ATF did the nationwide bump stock ban. However, unfortunately, the Supreme Court said it was unconstitutional for the ATF to do it. Basically, they said Congress would have to write a law. The Supreme Court decision didn't overturn any of the state bump stock bans that are already in place. So, unlikely that Supreme Court decision would not negate this if it becomes law. This is something they're trying to push through. And by the way, all of these bills, if they become laws, only affect the law-abiding, obviously, because criminals don't follow laws. And the Constitution, the second time it was amended, where it says, shall not be infringed, already bans all gun control. I completely agree with all of you. Trust me, I do. But yet again, here we are. So, the bump stock ban bill. House Bill number 6144, introduced by Reps Buyback, co-sponsored by others. This is the gun buyback bill that talks about destroying guns that are bought back. So, yeah, buyback, like they can buy back. That implies they owned it to begin with. Gun buybacks are completely ridiculous, and this is their so-called gun buyback bill. Now, the next one, we're talking about what they call, I hate to use their terms, I'm just using it because I'm trying to report this properly. these so-called ghost guns. I don't have a bill number for that yet, but it's something they're working on because this is one of the top priorities of the new of the gun lobby. So anti-gun lobby, I'm sorry. The anti-gun lobby, which is way more prevalent, by the way, than the pro-Second Amendment lobby, they're really, really pushing Michigan and many other what they call vulnerable states to really get in there and ban the use and manufacture and all that of privately made firearms. Michigan already having registries and all that. The whole thing's complicated. Yeah, talk to your own lawyer if you want legal advice on privately made firearms. I'm not here for that. I'm just here to make you guys alert and to get you all to advocate to your legislators, like right now, in the next week, because we don't have much time, to vote no on all of these and do anything they can to stop it. Another bill that there's a draft of, from what I understand, but I haven't been able to get my hands on the exact bill yet. I'm trying my hardest. This already took me tons of time to even get to where I am now with all of this. Industry regulation reforms, and that is going to make it where so-called victims of so-called gun violence will be able to civilly sue firearms manufacturers in Michigan under certain circumstances. Now, we already have the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act that was enacted 20 years ago on a federal level. Michigan also has a current law that strengthens that as far as the state of Michigan goes. They're wanting to repeal that and open it up where gun manufacturers could be sued out of existence, or certainly sued to the point where it would hurt their bottom line, thus making them raise prices, maybe making us lose access to guns if some of these manufacturers go out of business. This is a very, very slippery slope, and I think a lot of you guys are already kind of familiar with this because they've been trying to attack this on the national level as well. This is also one of the top priorities for Michigan at the end of the year. And by the way, like I said earlier, guys, this takes me tons of time. I do this channel to try to keep you all informed, to have a good time hanging out, but it does help if you guys can help support the channel. So check the links down in the description for several ways you can do that. And make sure you're also checking out my locals community, X, and different censorship-free sites. Again, check all those links, and we'll get you more information and more content over there. So I appreciate all of the ways you guys support. Thank you. All right, now this one's kind of sinister and crazy. This is Senate Bill 1086, and this is a new no-sell list. Now, you're probably familiar with the no-fly list, how you could get on a no-fly list, can't board an airplane. A lot of times it happens in air. This one's thick. Can't get too much into it right now because it's probably going to take me 30 minutes just to parse through all of it, but we're talking pages and pages of new legislation here. This is by Senator Bayer, Polahanky again, and others. So going through here, it's going to make a no-sell list. If you're on the no-sell list, you will be added to the already long list of prohibited persons. It looks like this is going to... It's going to involve health professionals. There's a lot of stuff to do with this. It's very red flaggy-ish, in my opinion. It's just doing a cursory search of this, which red flag laws did pass in Michigan recently as well. House Bill 6046. This is Medicaid dollars for so-called community violence intervention programs. Yet again, watch my recent video. I talk about how they're tying more stuff in with the schools, with your children, potentially ratting out their parents with this tip line and all these things. They're trying to make guns into what they call a healthcare epidemic, a violence epidemic. And as we know, guns don't commit violence. Violent people commit violence, and good people with guns stop a multitude times more bad people with guns each year than the other way around. The only thing that'll stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, obviously. And you know that. That's why you carry a gun, right? But again, this is just to keep demonizing guns as violence. There's pages of new legislation here. Again, these are bills, but they're trying to cram them through, allowing them to use Medicaid dollars, a bunch more bureaucracy to, again, this is a form of gun control. And this kind of stuff is actually some of the most sinister gun control, because when you hear AWB and you hear like magazine restrictions and this and that, that's like right in your face. And tons of people come and speak out about that kind of stuff. But this kind of stuff just kind of weasels around, and it's just that slow, steady burn where it gets you caught in traps, and tons of money being spent on all this. Boards created, new groups of governments. It's just, it's really, really bad how they're conflating firearms with healthcare now and trying to use community funds for that as well. All right, let me see if I got the nuts and bolts of this here. So we've got about 3 weeks left of session in Michigan. They're trying to cram this stuff through during the so-called lame duck. We talked about the bump stock ban, ghost gun crackdown. And again, this is Everytown for Gun Safety, Brady Group, Michigan Coalition to End Gun Violence. These are all groups that just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And I'll tell you what, there's way more of them going to the Capitol than there are people on our side. I hate to say that. They're talking about destroying weapons and gun buyback programs. This no-sell list, which is insane. Medicaid, intervention services, and that's to do with the 6 bills, some of which have passed and already been sent to the governor recently, as well as even more than this. So just stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you're subscribed. I'm kind of giving you guys this as a breaking news part. I know I haven't been real thorough, but a lot of you just want to know what's going on, and I will do a longer live stream detailing this stuff more in depth. And there's more stuff that I understand they're working on behind the scenes, so you may see me back on here soon, unfortunately, talking about even more. So if you needed these House bills one more time, we have House Bill 6046. You need to urge your legislators to oppose. Senate Bill 1086, House Bill 6144, Senate Bill 942. Make sure you also just tell them, and you can tell them the general topic, make sure they oppose them getting rid of the Protection and Lawful Commerce Clause in Michigan, where we don't sue all of our gun makers out of existence. Tell them also to oppose anything that would infringe upon privately made firearms. So I hope that's all of the topics, and I hope I don't have to get on here and report of more pending gun control before Thanksgiving, but don't be surprised if you don't see me on here with maybe a couple more within the next couple weeks. All right, like I said, check all the stuff down there in the description as well as that pinned comment, and I hope to see you all around soon. All right, thanks for watching, and have a good one.